Hey everybody, welcome back and welcome to another fabulous Music Monday. To everyone that is new to this channel, my name is Andrew Robinson. I am a recovering audiophile and I just want to say welcome. Welcome to this channel and welcome to one of the videos that we do here in my office kind of regularly now since they've turned out to be really popular. And I thought today would be a lot of fun, seeing as how it's Monday, we're kicking off a new week, and to get a discussion started because today we will be breaking down my 10 best loudspeakers of all time. This list is in no particular order and it is meant to be fun. It is meant to spark conversation and to see what your lists are down in the comments below. Let's not hesitate, let's not delay things anymore. These are my 10 best loudspeakers of all time, according to me. Number one has to be the Paradigm Atom or Mini Monitor. And I know, this is two speakers, but the Paradigm Atom or Mini Monitor for me represented and still represents one of the best, if not the best, most iconic entry point into higher end loudspeakers. And these speakers are still in production to this day. The versions that I have, I think, were versions 3, versions 2 or versions 3. So we're going way back. But nevertheless, they are a great entry point. They are a fantastic speaker, and I argue that for 90% of hi-fi enthusiasts out there with small to medium-sized rooms, modest budgets, and simple electronics, the Paradigm Atom or Mini Monitor loudspeaker gets it done. The next one on my list is the MAGNEPAN 1.6. Now, it would have been the MAGNEPAN 3.6 because the 3.6 is just a phenomenal loudspeaker and better than the 1.6 in every conceivable way, save for one, affordability. I owned both the 1.6 and the 3.6 as well as several pairs of the MMG, and while the MMG is special in its own right, the 1.6 really is, in my opinion, the butter zone of the entire MAGNEPAN product catalog. And it embodies and possesses 95%, if not more, of what makes MAGNEPAN so special. It is offered at a relatively affordable price, and it fits in more environments. That is to say, for a large speaker, it's not as large as other MAGNEPAN designs, and it's not as small as the MMG, but because the MMG is so small, there are so many other limitations to that design that the 1.6, for me, gets the nod as one of my favorite loudspeakers of all time. Next up, and this should come as no surprise, especially if you watched any of the videos last week, but MartinLogan's CLS II loudspeaker. Now, this can be the MartinLogan CLS II, 2A, or 2Z because I have heard them all and they were incrementally better with each iteration. Suffice to say that MartinLogan's CLS design went from being unique and intriguing and good to downright spooky and great when they went from the CLS to the CLS II. And there isn't much else to say. If you want my full and honest opinion on the CLS IIs, you really should check out last week's video where I talked about one of my sound demos from hell. I know that doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement for the CLS II, but bear with me. It is a story that if you are a diehard audiophile or hi-fi enthusiast, you're probably going to want to check out, and I'll link to that in the description below. Next on this list is the Klipsch Scala. I know, I don't talk a lot about Klipsch on this channel. I've done but one Klipsch review, which is the Heresy 3. The Heresy 4 is in-house and is coming, by the way. But truth be told, I am actually a big fan of Klipsch, and one of the things that I am a big fan of is all of their heritage line of speakers, which have been in constant production this whole time. That is to say, since they were devised some decades ago. And the Scala for me is just, it belongs in a museum. Like, it's just art to me. And the fact that it also sounds good is just icing on the cake. I have only heard the Scala a handful of times. I've never owned it in my own home, something I do hope to rectify in the not too distant future. And as taken aback as I have been by its looks, it is always the raw, effortless kind of presence and live sound that the Scala has possessed that just it boggles my mind. And every time I hear it, I am reminded of what makes that loudspeaker so freaking special. The next on this list, and again, this is in no particular order, is the JBL L100. And I am talking about the L100 in all of its iterations. That means the past all the way to the present L100 Classic. Because for me, it is not only the quintessential JBL loudspeaker, and JBL is a loudspeaker manufacturer that needs no introduction, but it is one of, if not the single most iconic loudspeakers of all time. Chances are you may not even know what an L100 is, but if I showed you a picture of one, you would instantly go, oh, that speaker. And the fact that it has had that kind of an impact, not only on hi-fi and audiophile culture, but just pop culture in general. And it also sounds freaking fantastic, especially the new one, makes it a no-brainer for this list and one of my favorite loudspeakers of all time. Next up, we have Bowers & Wilkins 802 Diamond. And this, I know there are new 802s. There is a new 800 series on a whole. I am talking about the original 800 series, specifically the 802 Diamond. And the reason I'm talking about this loudspeaker is because I owned it. I owned it. It was a bucket list speaker for me. I had wanted this loudspeaker or this series of loudspeaker for probably 20 years. And I obtained it shortly before having to move from Los Angeles. And I lived with this loudspeaker as my daily driver and my personal reference for, gosh, going on about 5 years, and absolutely loved every freaking second of ownership with that speaker. It is phenomenal. It made everything sound good. Yes, it was a little bit difficult to drive, but kind of like the JBL L100, this is the iconic series of loudspeakers that Bowers & Wilkins is known for, and I do think that when they introduced the Diamond series of the 800 series, especially the 802, they just took that already great loudspeaker into the stratosphere, and I have yet to run into someone that either demoed them in my house or have had an experience with the 802 Diamond of their own during that era walk away with anything less than praise. It's a phenomenal loudspeaker. Big loudspeaker, expensive loudspeaker, but a phenomenal loudspeaker all the same. And the next one, and this one is kind of a bit of a dark horse, but I have to put Tecton Design's Pendragon on this list of top 10 loudspeakers of all time, according to me, because pre-Tecton Pendragon, if you wanted super high efficiency dynamics, but also wanted a more traditional driver loudspeaker design, that is to say, tweeters, cones, things like that, there wasn't really a lot of options, and there weren't really a lot of really successful designs. If you wanted a traditional non-horn loaded speaker, you tended to have to deal with loudspeakers that had high 80s, low 90s sensitivity ratings, which meant you needed a lot of amplifier power, which meant without the right amplifiers, they didn't quite come alive until you really pushed them, so on and so forth. But if you didn't want a horn-loaded loudspeaker that you found maybe too fatiguing or too thin or bright or whatever you want to call it for your taste, there wasn't something that was kind of Goldilocks right down the middle, that was easy to drive, affordable, and just the business until the Tecton Pendragon arrived on the scene. And the Pendragon wasn't even Tecton's first loudspeaker. It was just one that kind of shook the industry, myself included, to its very core, because for, I think it was $2,000 at that time, the price has since gone down, but for $2,000, you truly got a world-class giant killer. And I have owned multiple pairs of Pendragons over the years, and I don't know if there has been any other loudspeaker that has served as my personal reference for longer than the Pendragon, because it was such a great loudspeaker to not only enjoy all types of music with at all sorts of volumes, including ones that were dangerously high, but it was also a loudspeaker with which it was very easy to evaluate other components due to its relative or higher than normal efficiency. And it is still, I think, arguably one of Tecton's best loudspeaker designs. I know they have the double impact. I know they have the Moab now. And I have to say, I have not personally spent any real time with either one of those designs. So take this with a grain of salt. But for me, it just, the Pendragon has to be kind of what really helped to put Tekton more on the map or solidify them as a legitimate threat. And it is one of my 10 best loudspeakers of all time. This next one is more of a series because I honestly couldn't make up my mind which I thought was best. And of course that means I am talking about none other than Bang & Olufsen's Beolab loudspeaker series. Now I know the Beolab loudspeaker series stretches decades. So I'm going to whittle it down to the Beolab series that was circa in the 90s. We're talking Beolab 6000, 4000, 8000, culminating in the Beolab 1. For me, no loudspeaker had more of an impact on my thinking about loudspeakers, my thinking about hi-fi than Bang & Olufsen, and specifically the Bang & Olufsen Beolab series. Prior to wandering into my first Bang & Olufsen store in Cherry Creek, Colorado in like 1995, I didn't know loudspeakers could possess that level of design. Moreover, I had never, God's honest truth, I wasn't working in the industry. I was only, 16 at the time, but I didn't know about powered loudspeakers. I really didn't. I didn't know powered loudspeakers were kind of a thing. I didn't know loudspeakers in general could look the way the Beolabs did. And then on top of it, I didn't know speakers could sound like that. And so here I was in a store with 2 speakers and a CD player, or 2 speakers and a this, or 2 speakers, and it was just like, where's all the gear? Where is all the gear? And the fact that it just continued to blow my mind. And there are still things that those speakers did back in the mid to early 90s that loudspeakers today fail to do. They still possess to this day technology that companies are just now bringing to market in their powered loudspeakers and expecting us all to be wowed and amazed when Bang & Olufsen has been doing it since the 80s and 90s. That is how influential these particular speakers were and why they make my list as one of the 10 best loudspeakers of all time. Next on this list is the Wilson Audio Sophia. I'm talking about the very first one. I know there are multiple generations there that have come after it, but I am talking about the Wilson Audio Sophia version 1. And I picked the Sophia over the Watt Puppy. And I know on a lot of these 10 best lists, Watt Puppies always make the list. I'm picking the Sophia over the Watt Puppy because, in my humble opinion, having lived with both, the Sophia is the better speaker all round. It's not as expensive, it's not as complicated to set up, it is a smaller footprint, it is finished equally as well, and honestly, from a distance of like 3 or more feet, to the uninitiated, it kind of looks just like a Watt Puppy, so Anyway, the Sophia is just one of the finest loudspeakers I've ever heard, and I know I can recall countless times that one of my best friends and I would loiter at a hi-fi shop during our college years and just park our asses in front of this shop's pair of white Sophias connected to a Krell KAV integrated lifestyle kind of integrated amp and CD player combo, and we would play CD after CD after CD and just grinning like idiots and like, you know, shaking each other like, can you believe, like, do you hear that? That's amazing. And the Sophia was responsible for that because we would take those same CDs around that entire shop. I believe it was in Orange County. And we just did not get that same experience. We did not have that same reaction. And so that is why the Wilson Audio Sophia version 1s are one of my 10 best loudspeakers of all time. Number 10 has to be the Bose AcousticAS series of home theater or loudspeaker products.
So let's get him.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Even if there's a small chance that we can undo this, I mean, we owe it to everyone who's not in this room to try.
Yep, I can feel some of you firing up your fingers right now for the comment section, but I have to tell you, when I was 10 or 11 years old, my uncle had a home theater in his living room. That is to say that he had, I think, a 32-inch Sony Trinitron TV, and he had 5 of these AcousticAS modules around his living room and the subwoofer over back behind his couch. And we used to watch movies, specifically when my parents weren't around, R-rated films, through this series. And there have been many a Van Damme, many a Chuck Norris, many a just 80s action movie pumped through this type of a speaker system. And it arguably began my journey in hi-fi at the age of 9 or 10 years old. And as I had grown up and as I have moved through this industry, everyone I run into has some kind of Bose story. Everyone has some kind of memory or remembers having these AcousticAS series loudspeakers in their home, whether it be because their moms really liked them, or they were their first experience with home theater because they fit into a living room. It doesn't matter. The truth is that for a lot of people, the AcousticAS series was and continues to be the only viable home theater solution, speaker solution, I should say, that is available to them or that they will even accept. And that doesn't make them bad or wrong. I want to stress that. It doesn't make them bad or wrong, but it just shows you the importance of a loudspeaker like the Bose AcousticAS series has been for many people, hi-fi enthusiasts and non-hi-fi enthusiasts alike, over the years. So that's it. That is my 10 best loudspeakers of all time, according to me. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? How did I do? How's my list? Do you agree with some of it? Am I completely off the mark? Are you typing as I speak? Oh my God, I can't believe you left this off. You know what? I don't want to get in any arguments. What I want to do is I just want to see a comment section full of your 10 best loudspeaker lists, because honestly, I do think these lists, as entertaining as they are also very helpful for people, because you may be writing something down, or I may have said something in this video that someone hasn't heard of before. And so at the very least, they may Google it, fall down a rabbit hole, and find their dream loudspeaker, whether that loudspeaker be something as esoteric or high-end as a Wilson Audio Sophia or a Paradigm Atom. So please, tell me what you think of this video, but write down your list in the comments below, and let's just see how many we can get going here. I thank you guys all so much for watching. Welcome again to everyone that has found this channel over the last couple of weeks. YouTube has been notifying me fairly regularly about our latest kind of rise. We are growing very rapidly now. So thank you, and welcome. I hope you find this channel engaging, informative, and helpful. And to all of my OGs, to all of you who have been watching since the beginning, you guys rock. You just do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So that's it. I'm going to go make some coffee, maybe make some breakfast. And just remember, guys, just remember, the only person that has to like the sound of your system is you. So happy listening, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, we'll see you on the next video. Bye.